Hello, I'm Allie Duzette, medical intuitive, and today I wanted to talk about simple grounding methods. Um, Years ago, it really came to my mind. If you're interested in energy work and like intuitive healing at all, you've probably heard of grounding. And you know, there's lots of ways to get grounded, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But one thing that really intrigued me was, why do people come ungrounded in the first place, right? Like, if this is how we're supposed to be, what is it that makes us not be that way? And then how can you fix it in a way that makes it so it doesn't keep happening? And I'll get back to that question in a minute, but let's just talk about what grounding is. Okay. Grounding to me involves three major components. Okay. Your brain is connected to your body. Okay. Your spirit is fully in your body. And then your body, spirit, brain, like your complete mental, physical, spiritual self is both connected to the divine, right? Our divine source, and the earth, like Mother Earth. And so when those three things are happening, then to me, that's like a good sign that we're grounded, right? And grounding is really important for a lot of reasons. It's hard to feel like yourself when you're not grounded. When you're not grounded, it's hard to go to sleep. And the way that I explain it to people is, it's that moment when you're like lying in bed and you feel like your brain is up here and your brain is like, blah, 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 blah. Like, do you remember that time that you said this ridiculous thing to this person? Like, do you remember when they said this horrible thing to you? When you can't turn off your brain and it feels like you're in bed and your brain is like up here, like just yakking at you, that's a good sign that you are not grounded. And if you can get yourself grounded and get that part of you back into your space, and you connect your own body, mind, spirit with the divine and with the earth, you're going to find that you fall asleep so much more quickly. And it's so much better. So these are just a few easy ways to get grounded. Uh, they're not comprehensive, and I'll get back to my big insight about grounding afterwards, but let's just go through a couple of ways to get grounded. The first one that's probably the most famous is called earthing, where you just go and stand barefoot on the planet Earth where we live. And that's a great way to do it. So you just take off your shoes and go stand outside and breathe in, feel that sun on you, feel the earth under your feet, and just do that for like 5 minutes. And you'll feel how your body really does feel much more connected to nature and this planet that we're made of. Like, our bodies are made out of this planet. And I mean that in a literal way, right? Everything that we eat was made out of the earth. It originated as soil in the earth that became plants that animals ate, and we ate the animals and the plants, and here we are. We are this planet. This planet is who we are. And not in like a hippy dippy way, just in like a literal science way, right? So when we connect with that by just literally connecting with it, standing on the earth, feeling the sun, that is a great way to get grounded. One of my favorite ways, where this is how I talk my clients through the end of group sessions, I have them close their eyes and imagine growing roots into the center of the earth and out 5 miles in every direction. You can just try that. I was just doing it as I was talking you through it. And I just love how it feels, it just feels so good. So breathe that in. So good. Now, another great grounding thing is called eagle pose in yoga. And you can Google up eagle pose, and I'm not going to show it to you all the way because my room is not equipped for that. But if you cross your legs, one leg over the other, and then cross your arms like this, and then just breathe. In true eagle pose. So I'm sitting in a chair right now, obviously, and I have my legs crossed and I'm doing that. But you're crossing all those connections and getting your left side of your body and your right side of your body integrated and connected. And so that's what helps you ground. But in real eagle pose, you're supposed to balance on one foot and do it. Guess what? That doesn't matter. Just do it sitting down, do it in bed. That's like the big secret. If you have a hard time falling asleep, do it lying in bed. and that can make a big difference. Um, do it for 1 minute and just breathe, and then do it on the other side, switch legs, switch arms, and just do it again and keep breathing and feel how your body, like, it's almost like a sigh of relief. It'll be like, oh yeah, okay, you're right. Okay. We need to be grounded. Like, we're gonna calm it on down. We're connecting again. We're getting reconnected. It's kind of like when you haven't seen a loved one in a really long time, and maybe you don't even notice how stressed you are about it until you see them, and it's like this wall just releases, and you're like, oh, it's you. I missed you so much. And that's kind of how our left brain and right brain are about each other when we have these walls up in between. They miss each other so bad. And when we manually force them to connect by like crossing our physical body and making those connections, like forcing them to happen, those two sides of us are like, oh my gosh, I missed you so much. And then they reconnect and they're so happy. So I do urge you to try that as you're lying in bed and you can't sleep. Just cross your legs, cross your arms, take some deep breaths, and see if it helps. And remember to do it the other way as well. So if you do it this way, then go do it that way. It doesn't have to take super long to get really good and grounded. Um, Now, those are some quick fix ways. If you are having trouble grounding and you have to get grounded for whatever reason, like sleeping, then that's a great way to get grounded just for the moment. Um, what I really wanted to know was, why do people come ungrounded? And if there was a way to heal that so that they were less likely to come ungrounded in the future. Because I've had a lot of clients over the years who are remarkably ungrounded, and no matter how much grounding they do, it's like it doesn't matter, and they kind of always feel like their spirit is like "Wah, wah, wah," just like floating around up there doing who knows what, and their body's here, and it just feels really disorienting. Maybe you have felt that way. Whenever you feel like your body and your spirit have a disconnect, it's because you're not grounded. And for some people, that kind of is the default lifestyle, kind of like that's just how their body and spirit are kind of by default. And they can do these like grounding techniques and they can do their visualizations, and it doesn't seem to help. And that's what I was really interested in. How do we help the unhelpable, the people who have tried everything to ground and they still can't ground? And so that is what I was really researching, because I am a healer, but I really consider myself a researcher, because what I like to do is ask crazy questions and then get the answers and then write them down and share them with you. And so, anyway, what came to me was actually a really complex system I call it the grounding system or the grounding mechanism. And it's like this really intense setup. It's kind of as complex as like a digestive system, right? And if you think about it, it makes sense, because the spirit is absolutely as complicated as the physical body. If digestion or like our immune system or our circulation system, all of those things are really complicated for kind of what should be simple on the surface. Like, what's so complex about making sure your blood is always moving through your body? But it's actually crazy. Like, if you study hearts and study circulation, you're just gonna be like, how did this even work? Like, this is crazy. And it's the kind of the same with grounding. Like, what's so hard about making sure that our spirit and body are connected to each other and like the heavens and the earth? Like, what's so crazy about that? But what I found was this like 12-piece system that every single piece has to energetically be aligned and functioning and present and know what it's supposed to be doing for it to function. And so when you get that 12-part system functioning and flowing for people, then all of a sudden they don't come ungrounded anymore. And so that has been one of the most rewarding things about discovering this system and using it in my work, is hearing from those people that never could get grounded, and suddenly they're like grounded and they're like, whoa, like this is what it feels like. I had no idea. And it's like a whole new world has opened up for them. And I just love that. It makes me so happy. And so I teach that whole system in my Intuition Accelerator program. But I also have a simplified session on grounding that just gets to the heart of the system so that you can just watch it and get fully grounded and hopefully not come ungrounded again. And if you do, then you just watch the session again. But my real goal is for people to be able to get out of that cycle of constant ungrounding and just be done. Like, let's just ground and be done, you know? And when do we come ungrounded? It's usually in times of trauma. Again, I think I mentioned that. It can be emotional trauma or physical trauma, but the more your body is used to staying grounded, the more likely it is to not go crazy ungrounded when things like that happen. And as an analogy, my good friend got in a car accident a few years ago. She was on a bicycle and this car hit her and she went flying. And she had some injuries and she ended up with a brain injury, but um, as far as the rest of her body, it was actually in like remarkably good condition, and it was because she was a weightlifter and like power lifter, and she was really fit, and the doctors just said like it's a miracle that you're fine, but it's because you had so much muscle. Like your muscles saved your life. And because of your daily work, keeping your body fit, like you are alive and you're fit and you're going to go back to your life. And if you had not, like this could have been a death sentence for you. And it's kind of like that with grounding. You know, the more our grounding system is strengthened and taken care of, and the more we're aware of it, you know, the more when those ungrounding situations happen, when we're hit by the car and we're on our bike, we don't have to come ungrounded because our body has kind of like the muscle in place. It's like strengthened so that you don't start going crazy when things like that happen. You just stay grounded and centered. And that's a really great thing because grounding is both a physical and a mental emotional process. So when you're grounded, you feel physically solid and like in your own body, but you also have that emotional centeredness where you're not in a tizzy, you know, you're not going crazy. You're feeling really calm. You feel like you're here. You feel like you're right here right now. And so being grounded is just such a beautiful thing, and I love it and I want it for everybody. So anyway, I hope you try those 3 exercises today, or go try them right now. Go try them while you go to bed. See if they help you sleep after all. And if you're ready for more on grounding, then check out the links below. There's a link to the grounding session, and I hope you do check it out. Um, and either way, I hope that you have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.